All right, so in question number 35 in your assignment there's a couple things going on here. They're starting to get a little more complicated in the 30s here, but we have secant theta minus tan theta and secant theta plus tan theta. Now this is separated by a subtraction, and I guess it's easy to see that this left side is the more complicated side. So one of the tips are to perform the indicated operations, especially if you just really have, if you have this over on the right side, and you have something really complicated, let's try and bring that together. Let's try and, squish that down a bit. So we can do that by actually doing the subtraction. So what we'll need to focus on is multiplying to get a common denominator, okay? So I want a common denominator here of this times this, right? Secant theta minus tan theta times secant theta plus tan theta. So I want a common denominator. That means I need to multiply up here by secant theta minus tan theta. And up over here, secant theta plus tan theta. Okay? So you can do a little bit of simplification here. What's secant times cotan? Is that anything we can simplify? Secant is what? Reciprocal identity secant is 1 over cos. Oh, 1 over cos times, oh, that's cotan. Okay, well, what's cotan? That's 1 over tan. Okay, well, where's, oh, look at this. Cos over sine. So secant times cotangent. I've got this times this. So look at, I've got, let's just write it out. Fine. So I'm going to have 1 over cos, that's secant, times cos theta over sine theta. Okay, so I'm showing you this multiplication. Then I'm going to do plus cotan times tan. Well, cotan and tan are reciprocals, so that's just going to be plus 1. Okay, so does everyone see how this simplifies to this part right here? And we're going to simplify that some more, don't worry. But I just want to show you what this kind of looks like. Minus, now minus, I'm going to have, at least 2 terms here, so I should probably put like big brackets here so I remember to subtract everything. What's cosine times secant? So secant is 1 over cos. Yeah, so that's just going to be 1. Very good. Tangent, okay, where do we get the plus 1 from over here? Like over here? Tangent times cotangent. Those are reciprocals, so they just multiply to 1. Yeah. Okay, so back over here, then cosine times tangent. Okay, tangent is right here, sine over cos. So cos times sine over cos is actually just what? It's cos times sine over cos. So that's just going to be sine. Does that make sense? Is that okay? All right. Okay, sorry? How did I get sine here? So cos, right here, cos theta times negative tan, which is sine theta over cos theta. So now those cancel out. I'm left with minus sine. You see that? Okay, you guys good? All right. So let's go back and do some more simplification here. I know that these coses here will divide out. And I'm just left with 1 over sine. Okay, well, what's 1 over sine? Because you know what? I actually, like I have sine, but I have cosecant over here. And actually 1 over sine is cosecant. See that? So actually, I'm just going to write this right here as cosecant. Everyone see that? That becomes that. Okay, now watch this. Plus 1, minus 1. You see how those just eliminate each other? So you can just get rid of those. Plus 1, minus 1. And then I have a minus negative sign. What's that? Yeah, plus sine theta. Now you might think, oh good, listen, I've got what I came for. Nope, you don't. Because we still have a denominator to deal with. So we have to show how that can be simplified. This is going to end up to be a difference of squares, I think, right? secant theta minus tan theta times secant theta plus. So this is actually secant squared theta minus tan squared theta. Let me know if that makes sense to you. When I multiply these, they're conjugates of each other. I end up with a difference of squares here. Right, so you're good with this, what I just multiplied down there? Everybody? I did secant times secant. Then I did a plus secant tan and a minus secant tan. Those cancel each other out. And then negative tan times positive tan is minus tan squared. I multiplied it through just all in kind of one step. I did the plus secant tan minus secant tan in my head. Yeah. Okay, and I did hear it over here that secant squared minus tan squared. Guess what? This identity over here, you can move terms around in an identity. That's totally fine. So if I took tan away from both sides, I'd have 1 equals secant squared minus tan squared. You see that? So guess what? Secant squared theta minus tan squared theta equals 1. So when you're showing me your work, I would appreciate it if you didn't want to rewrite everything out, just do this. Do like 2 lines and that equals 1, okay? So that, even a little arrow there, whatever, that equals 1. And that tells me, hey, you've looked over here and you know that from your identities, that equals 1. And so you have cosecant, right, theta plus sine theta over 1, which is cosecant theta plus sine theta. And if you did this little double arrow to the 1, you wouldn't have to include this step right here, is what I'm saying. Okay? So now, cosecant theta plus sine theta, boom, QED, you're done.
Didn't sound that exciting.
Sorry? It didn't sound that exciting?
You sounded like you were lacking energy.
I was lacking energy in what? The QED? Studying the QED? Okay. QED! Quadrant demonstrandum. How's that? Better? Okay. Get a little guttural there. All right. Okay, so that's 35. Yeah, that's 35.